Guys, once again, if you can, please subscribe to the channel and please smash that like button so it can help with the algorithms and push this video further. So guys, we've got a new story coming in from Scotland ways, and a man was jailed for 20 years today for murdering his pregnant wife by pushing her off Arthur's seat in Edinburgh because she wanted to leave him after months of domestic abuse. Fawziyah Javed, who's 31, who was 17 weeks pregnant, was shoved off the famous hill in the Scottish capital by her husband Kashif Anwar, who's 29, and fell around 50 foot to her death in an act that also killed her unborn child on September the 2nd, 2021. I just want to say rest in peace to Fawziyah. My condolences go out to your family. She had used her dying words to reveal it was her abusive husband who caused her to fall. As she passed away, she said, "Don't let my husband near me. He pushed me," telling a witness he did it after she told him, "I wanted to end it." Anwar was found guilty by a jury at Edinburgh High Court of murdering Ms. Javed. The killer, who's from West Yorkshire, who's actually from Leeds, denied the charge, but after a week-long trial, the jury found him responsible. He was jailed for 20 years. As Anwar was handcuffed and taken to the cells, a family member of Miss Javed shouted, "Die, you bastard," at him. The court had heard that Anwar had walked arm in arm with his pregnant wife to Arthur's seat after a meal to Wagamama's before he suddenly pushed her off the Edinburgh landmark. The judge imposed a mandatory life sentence on Anwar with an imprisonment period of a minimum of 20 years. He told Anwar, "You've been found guilty of murdering Fawziyah Javed, who was a very special person. She was your pregnant wife and you also caused the death of your unborn child." He told the killer that the victim was willing to trust that he would keep her safe when they went up Arthur's seat, but that he pushed her off when nobody else was around. The judge said Ms. Javed's mother had described her as a beautiful soul inside and out who was a popular woman. Jurors were visibly upset after the result, some crying, and the judge thanked them for the admirable way they performed their duties. In a statement, Ms. Javed's mother said, "There are just no words to describe the depth of pain and grief. There are no words in the English dictionary that go deep enough." Miss Javed used her dying words to reveal it was her abusive husband who caused the fall. So the court heard that PC Rhiannon Clutton was told by Miss Javed her husband pushed her because she told him, "I wanted to end the marriage." Her final moments were revealed by a witness who found her writhing in pain after she was pushed. Giving evidence at the High Court, a witness said she found Miss Javed on Arthur's seat on the evening of September 2nd, 2021. She said she was first approached by Anwar, who she described as looking panicked. She said Anwar told her that his wife had fallen and he could not see her. So this person made their way down to Arthur's seat with Anwar trying to find his wife. Upon finding her, she said Miss Javed asked, "Am I going to be okay? Is my baby going to be okay?" The witness told the court she reassured her and told her the emergency services were on their way. The witness then said she was really scared. She kept saying, "Don't let my husband near me. He pushed me. I said this to her a few more times. He pushed you." She replied, "Yes, I think so," before two officers approached. So the police constable, Rhiannon Clutton, was one of the police officers who attended that night, and she said she'd found her writhing in pain with an obvious injury to her head, but told the court she could still speak. She said I asked her name, and she replied to me, "He pushed me." The PC then asked who had pushed her and why, which she replied, "My husband, because I told him I wanted to end it." The officer then said she asked Miss Javed if she had previously spoken to the police about him, and she replied that she had done at home in Leeds. She asked me why he was like that, and she asked me to keep him away from her. The court also heard how Miss Javed repeatedly asked for water and if she was going to die and if a baby was going to die. Miss Javed's condition deteriorated further when the fire service joined the rescue operation. Following this, the police constable said Miss Javed became unresponsive, and that is when CPR commenced. She was pronounced dead at around 10:20 on September the 2nd. The trial heard that Anwar was so violent towards her that his mother-in-law set up a text code to alert police. Fawziyah's mother said there was a secret text code, "I like cream cakes," if she needed police help, as her husband monitored her calls and texts. She said her daughter first met Anwar together at an optician's in Leeds city centre near their home in Pudsey, where he worked as an optical assistant. She said when Anwar saw Miss Javed alone one day, he told her she was the type of woman he wanted to marry. It's believed that they got married in December 2020, and Fawziyah's mother told the court that she was very worried about her daughter. She said, "I said if you feel any danger, just text me and I will contact the police." She said this because of the abuse, the violence, the aggression, and the coercive control in the relationship, which included Anwar taking £12,000 from her daughter's bank accounts while she was sleeping. Ms. Javed said her daughter's calls and texts were monitored by the accused, and between 3 or 4 months after the wedding, her daughter wanted out of the marriage. The court was also played a recording of Fawziyah, who worked as an employment lawyer, phoning a legal firm for advice on getting a divorce. So Detective Inspector Bob Williamson of Police Scotland said this has been an incredibly difficult and traumatic time for Fawziyah's family, who are understandably devastated by her death. She was much loved and had her life ahead of her with a new baby on the way. This was all cruelly taken away from her and her unborn child at the hands of her own husband, someone who should have loved and protected her. Anwar's actions were incomprehensible, and as an investigation team, we welcome today's verdict. So guys, once again, I just want to say, rest in peace, Ms. Javed, and my condolences go out to your family. And guys, in a new story coming from the West Midlands, a drug dealer has revealed his motive for selling cocaine was so he could go to the gym and wear designer clothes. Ashley Burrows has been jailed for 2 years. The 28-year-old, who said he had the most sickest flake, was caught after carrying out a string of drug deals in Rugby. He told police he had been labouring and working for a window company, but the wages were low and he supplemented his income with drug dealing. He said he likes to dress well, go to the gym and eat healthy. However, he said his income from work alone did not cover that. Burrows also admitted landing himself into debt with quite dangerous people. The police said Burrows was first caught at a hotel near the town centre on June the 14th, 2021. Detectives on plainclothes patrol saw a known drug user enter the hotel and leave a short time later. They believed the person had gone in to buy drugs, so they elected to stay in the area to see who else was coming and going. Short time later, detectives spotted Burrows leaving the hotel and promptly detained him for a search. He was found to be in possession of crack cocaine, cash, scales, and a mobile phone containing an array of drug dealing text messages, including "What about with the bag?" He was promptly arrested and in an interview answered no comment to all questions. He was caught for a second time when he was detained and searched in the town centre on August 23rd. He was found to have wraps of crack cocaine divided into individual deals, cash, and 2 mobile phones. One of the phones contained text messages proclaiming, "Starting my flake line up again, got the most sickest flake." Burrows was arrested once again, and once again he answered no comments when he was interviewed. Then, on February the 2nd of this year, Burrows was caught for the 3rd time. In an instance, detectives watched as he left the house and engaged with a known drug user in an alleyway. When detectives approached Burrows, he attempted to run away but was quickly detained. Cash and a mobile phone was seized from him. A small bag of coke was found on a shed roof very close by to where he was detained, with detectives believing Burrows had thrown the bag in an attempt to not be caught with any drugs. Burrows was arrested and detectives searched his room in the house he was staying in. In the room, they found more cash, more drugs, deal bags, a debit card in someone else's name, together with a kitchen knife and a baseball bat. Burrows had declined to comment to earlier police interviews when he was caught for the 3rd time. Then he began to cooperate. When asked why he had continued to deal drugs, Burrows explained that he owes money to others from 2 previous occasions in which he was arrested. He declined to comment when detectives asked how long he had been dealing drugs. He said he had been forced into dealing drugs. He said, "You either do it or bad things happen." When asked to explain further, he said, "I don't want to be a rat." So Burrows was charged with 2 counts of possession of crack cocaine with intent to supply and 1 count of possession of cocaine with intent to supply. And he was jailed at Warwick Crown Court for 2 years. So guys, these are a couple of stories coming from the streets of the UK. It's your boy GC. Keep it locked, keep it real.